This is not advice. I'm not your advisor. Let's continue. Can an appraisal negate the need for a down payment? The answer is no. My wife and I are closing on a home in March for $343K. We plan to put 5% down. 5% down mortgage is back? What? Okay. Meaning you're borrowing $325,850. You were approved to borrow $650K. Okay. If the appraisal came back at $362K, would your purchase price would be 95% of the home's value? Could you not have to release any money for a down payment? No, definitely not. Clearly, we would be borrowing $17K more than initially planned. I don't get it. I'm so confused. What's going on here? Why would you be borrowing $17,000 more than planned? Because, you're saying, are you allowed to now take out a mortgage of $343K for the whole closing price because you already have equity in the house? I get it. No, I mean, a zero down mortgage would be nuts, regardless of the appraised value. I mean, the best value of a house isn't the appraisal, it's the value that the transaction happens at. So no mortgage lender is going to give you a zero down mortgage unless we're back in like 2004, 2005. How do people buy and renovate a home without major cash on hand? You live in a fairly high cost of living area and you've been considering buying a home. Your pre-tax earnings are $85K. Man, if you're in a high cost of living area and your pre-tax earnings are $85K, I think you probably can't swing it. Unless you've been saving up for a long time. You're somewhat picky. It's good to be picky in a house. You want a good area plus renovation. Here's your issue. Even with a good amount of money down, there'd be little to no equity in the home. Well, I mean, whatever you put down is equity, right? So by definition, a good amount of money down would give you a decent amount of equity, a good amount of equity, whatever. Banks won't give you a home improvement loan if you just took out a mortgage, correct? Loan to value problems. Question is, if you're buying a home at roughly $250K and plan to put another, it's not as high cost of living as I was afraid of, and plan to put another $75K in, is there any way to do that without making yourself house poor? Which I guess means the same thing as cash poor. I've always been confused by that. Or having your all-in payment be completely unaffordable. No, man, you got to budget for like a $325K house if that's what you're gonna do. And yeah, you probably have to have the down payment plus the renovation money. What a lot of people do is they buy the fixer-upper at $250K, and then after they move in, they do the renovations like piece by piece, not all at once. Because if you do them all at once, you probably can't even live in the house. Then you got to stay in the apartment you're in, and then you're paying rent and you're paying a mortgage for a house that you can't even move into. And the $75K renovations that you thought were going to be $75K are probably going to be $125K. So there's a lot of shit for you to figure out. So you gotta way overestimate if you're going to buy a house where you got to do some renovations. How do you actually make money from stocks and index funds, capital gains, dividends, etc.? So how do you actually make money from stocks and index funds? My understanding, and first of all, congratulations on asking the question. I think there's a lot more people than would ever admit it that don't understand the answer to this. So good for you, Blue Gilling. My understanding is that you open an account with a low-cost brokerage firm like Vanguard or Charles Schwab, and you put money in. I'm with you so far. And you choose where you want your money to grow. I mean, you choose where you want to invest it. It might not go up or down, whatever time period it is. You pick the ETF or index fund that you like. Yep, okay. Assuming you're not wrong on everything, how do you actually make money? Where do capital gains and dividends come in? Your understanding is this. Let's say you buy one share of an index fund at $1,000. The index fund does super well, and after 1 year, that share is worth $2,000. If you were to sell this share, you would net profit about $1,000 on top of your $1,000 investment. Yup. In this example, you can only make money from selling your stocks when they're worth more, and those are your capital gains. Yeah, that's right. You got it. Where do dividends come in? And to increase in the value of your shares need to be reported to the IRS. All right, so good questions, and you understand it well. Dividends are also going to be paid. So stocks and index funds are just made up of a whole bunch of individual stocks. They oftentimes pay dividends, which means the company paid out money to its shareholders, that's you. And for like the very average U.S. company, the bigger they are, the more they're going to pay in dividends. But the like S&P 500 pays something like a 2% a year dividend. And it's not required to happen, but that would just hit your account. It can either be reinvested automatically into whatever fund it came from or whatever stock it came from, or it's going to hit the account as cash, and it'll happen basically throughout the year. But that's another way that you can make some money. You understand capital gains really well. Increase in the value of your shares does not need to be reported. Dividends, assuming this is a taxable account, not a retirement type account, dividends are going to be taxable the year you get them. And anytime you make a sale, you're going to be realizing either gains or losses, and that needs to be reported. But you do not, they would call it mark to market each year, tell the IRS what's it worth and pay taxes. Actually, that's something that's been floated around by some of the Democratic candidates this year. Would be like basically having to pay taxes every year based on what the value did, which you can obviously see how messy that gets, but a lot of people think that'd be more fair than letting capital gains accrue and accrue and accrue and accrue. So good question.